Yeah, I need a fan. I need a fan going. It's hot in here today.
Yeah, man, it's been getting muggy though, bro.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna set myself up with a quick fan. Hold on one second.
Yeah, that's cool. Into the speakers. Enjoy your show. Into the speakers.
Oh, that's so much better.
So you good?
I'm good, brother.
All right, for sure. I'm just trying to set it up. Get my tank together. Give me 1 second, bro. Oh, it's gonna work.
Connect your YouTube account. Well, let me connect my YouTube account.
Yeah, I gotta say, if you want, you go ahead and get your stuff set up, bro. You know, we got time. I even went live already, but it's all good. There we go. That's how it went. Alrighty. Josh, what's good? What's going on? Yeah, I got my boy HOOKLIFE. Sorry, guys.
What's up, Scott? What's up, Josh?
Man, let me go ahead and make sure Facebook is all good. I gotta mute this. So what's up, HOOKLIFE? Greg, what's going on, man?
What's good, brother? What's good? Just here sweating in my garage.
Man, I know, man.
Like summer is here already.
Man, it is, dude. It's like, dang, it came up on us so fast.
I feel like I missed all of spring. Like it feels like all of spring was just flooded waters here.
Oh yeah, we did get a whole lot of rain, and you know, hey, these waters was high, especially on the river. I know you a river rat, and we gonna get into that because I'm gonna definitely want to tap in with you on that aspect.
Yeah, but it's the only good fishable water near me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, honestly.
Right.
So yeah, that's what's up, man. So first off, man, we just doing a little live, man, you know, with a little bit of structure. You know, I kind of want to keep it a little organized and kind of stay on topic, but at the same time, you know, how we may go off topic a little bit.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah, hopefully we got a few guys coming in. I'm gonna go ahead and I shared it on YouTube, I think. But yeah, man, shout outs to Old Town. I want to get them a shout out real quick because without them, man, without this boat, a lot of my adventures probably wouldn't be. I mean, it'd be happening, but probably with somebody else. And I just enjoy the Old Town. So if y'all guys interested in the Old Town, man, make sure y'all look them guys up. I know it's a few guys that's in Old Towns, and I just love it, man. And that spot lock, that autopilot, man, it's just the perfect kayak for me. And we can talk about that too as well. You know, we're gonna talk about your setup.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I've had my eye on an Old Town for a while now. If it was up to me, I'd probably have like 4 kayaks in my garage instead of 2.
Hey, I know, man. I need to switch out my other one. You know what I mean? Like I got a sit in, but I want to get something a little bit better, man. So either my daughter or my wife can get on it, or you know what I mean, if I decide to like take somebody out, then you know, they can get on a decent kayak that I have for them versus
Sure.
that sit in. That sit in is it sucks, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
you gotta start somewhere.
I know you gotta start somewhere, but you know what I mean, it sucks for what I do. You know what I
Right. Yeah. I
mean?
get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I've got a great kayak, but that's not so great for rivers. So I feel
Yeah.
you. I'm with you.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into this night, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself, bro. Where you from?
Woo. Oh man. I grew up in Southeast Florida, Boca Raton, West Palm Beach area, West Palm Beach County, Broward County. I moved there from the Caribbean when I was 4, and I lived there till 2008. So I cut my teeth bass fishing, saltwater fishing, boat fishing, pier fishing, intercoastal fishing, fishing in general down there. I started bass fishing when I was in 5th grade. I lived in Lake Worth, Florida, and we had just moved there. Didn't have any friends. Met a couple of kids, and they were fishing in the creek. And I was like, "Mom, I need a fishing pole." Next thing you know, I had a fishing pole and a bag of culprit worms, and I remember catching my first largemouth. And from then on, man, that's all I wanted to do. And really got into it heavy when I moved to Boca. So right around seventh and 8th grade, met one of my best friends who I'm still best friends with to this day. He lives up in Lake St. Clair. He's the guy that I meet up with when I go to Lake St. Clair, and we would bass fish. That's all we would do. We would walk for miles and go fish the ponds. I lived across the street from a golf course. We'd sneak onto the golf course every day and fish those privately stocked ponds. And yeah, man, just that's where I started. And then I started pier fishing right around the same time. Saltwater fishing on Deerfield Beach Pier. My first job ever was cleaning that pier every single morning in the summer. And we
And
would
how old
stay.
were you then?
I want to say I was 13 when I first got that job. So I
Okay.
started bass fishing when I was in 5th grade. However old you are then, maybe 12, somewhere around there. And then so from then on, man, it was full throttle, pedal to the metal, fishing nonstop.
Man, you sound like me, man. I didn't start that early, but hey, your childhood is my adult life.
It's video.
Look at.
Sorry, talking
Hey,
to one of my talking to my 8-year-old. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Hey, tell her, show it to the people if you want. Tell her we said what's up, man.
Yeah,
You know?
she's already gone. She's already gone.
Okay, good.
She may take you up on that in a little bit.
I already know. You know, the kids they want to come back on the camera. They always want to get on the camera.
Yeah, she's always trying to get on the camera. But yeah, man, that's where I started fishing, and it's been I did it, and I mean, we would fish before school. You know, in high school, we would go bass fishing before school. We'd get home, we'd walk all day. On the weekends, I'd go out to Deerfield Pier Friday at 5 o'clock, and I would not come home until Sunday evening. You know, we would literally stay out there on the pier. We'd catch fish. I'd call my mom. We'd clean the fish. We'd give her the fillets. She'd go home. She'd make a big pot of fish and rice. She'd bring the whole pot out on the pier and feed all of us. And yeah, man, just it's the Hook Life. You know, that's why I changed my name. That's why I changed my channel name to that, because I've been living that life my whole life. And when I'm not with family and I'm not working, that's what I'm doing, because that's all I'm thinking about all day long.
Yeah, I'm pretty much there with you, man. I'm obsessed, man. Like I just hate to. I mean, I don't hate to say it, but you know, what I mean, I just gotta admit it that you know, hey, it's just part of my life now, and that's what I tell my wife all the time. So I'm like, from this point on, like, fishing is going to be in my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you better get used to it.
Exactly.
Hey, and she with it though. She allowed me to be a man and allowed me to go out and do what I need to do. You know what I mean? To
Right.
keep my sanity, and she do what she needs. You know what I mean? She allowed me to do that, man. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna definitely praise her for that though, man. She's
for
been
sure.
great to me.
All of our significant others, I've much praise to them because, for me, fishing is so much more than just fishing. Sometimes that's all it is, but
Yeah.
sometimes I don't care if I catch a damn thing. I need the peace, the quiet, the solitude, and
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes it serves another purpose. But
Yeah.
it's definitely part of my DNA, and if you take that away from me, you might as well just put me in a mental asylum.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Like I feel you 100%, dude. Cause man, like I don't. It's just something about fishing, bro, that just give you peace. And
Yep.
everybody does it, from celebrities. You know, you got Deion Sanders out there, he fishes. You know what I mean? You see Terrell Owens, he out there fishing. Uh some other football players I see fishing. Shannon Sharp talk about it on his page. And then you got, man, it's just everywhere, man. Lil Boosie, rappers, you know what I mean? He out there
Yep.
catching a
Yep.
bunch of them. So it's
Yep.
like it's a worldwide thing, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you this though, but this is really funny, man. So when I first started fishing, my friends didn't understand it. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
one of my buddies, like I would go fishing every day, like go to the park and do some bank fishing and stuff. And one of my buddies came to me, he like, man, are you depressed? He like, man, like man, why you always fishing, bro? Like he like, man, you depressed or something, bro? You gotta holler at me or something. I'm like, bro, nah, I'm the happiest I ever been when I'm
Yeah.
out there fishing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So he like, oh yeah, Dwayne Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, it's a lot of
Lots of people. Aaron Lewis, musician, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about it, right? It's like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're Dwayne the Rock Johnson or Terrell Owens or it doesn't matter what your social status is. It levels the playing field.
yeah,
Because
it does.
ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we all need to be in touch with nature at some point. And man, for me, like in 2 weeks, I'll be in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for fishing hard for 3 or 4 days, and I won't see more than a dozen people in 3 days, and
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't have very many conversations, but man, when I come home, I am so energized, and
Mm-hmm.
rejuvenated and ready to go. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
can't
most
wait.
definitely do that to you, man. You can have a good day on the water, and it can just make your next day just like
Yeah,
the best. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So, man, you answered a lot of my questions that I had for you, bro. I
Oh,
was
it's
gonna
all
ask
good, man.
how you got into bass fishing, but you went all the way back for your boy, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
no worries.
how fishing impact your life. You know what I mean? But you
I've
just
I've
told me, man.
fished I've fished so many different styles too. Like when I first started
Hmm.
bass fishing, we were fishing canals, and
Yeah.
like we lived in a subdevelopment, and that subdevelop it if you've never been to South Florida, the further away from the beach you go, the further west you go. Um, there's not really a lot of man-made impoundments or lakes, but there's tons of canals,
Hmm.
because all of the irrigation needs to go somewhere, and all of those canals eventually end up in the Everglades or in an intercoastal, and sometimes that's just the best place. But yeah, I mean, we would go where four canals intersected, and we called it 4 points, and you would go there
Hmm.
with your culprit worm, Texas rigged, and you would just cast it out as far as you can, and you slowly work it back to shore. Or if the bass weren't biting, we'd go to the pond in the subdevelopment, and we'd be fishing for giant Oscar. I remember
Mm.
my biggest fish ever was when I was a kid was an 8 pound Oscar, and it was like that big. It
Yeah.
was
Those
giant.
Oscar got teeth, right? They got some big teeth on them, right?
So I don't
Or
know
they
if
like
it's
flat.
they're flat. I don't
Mm.
know if it's we called them Oscars. Fish identification outside of bass and saltwater fish, not my strong suit.
Yeah.
But they had white lips and it was gray, and we called them Oscars. But man, that thing
Mhm.
was giant and it fought like a thoroughbred. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Understood, bro. I haven't had one of those stories, man. I didn't really start bass fishing until I got a little older, late in the
Right.
game. I think I say bass fishing around like 17. Like I would go every once in a while, to this. Well, my parents, let me go back. My parents moved, I grew up in Gary, and my parents moved out to Hobart, Indiana, my senior year. So it was like when I got out there, it was like I drive home. You can't really go out and hang out with the people, you know what I mean? You really hang
Right.
out with in Gary. So my thing was, I'm like, dang, dude, what am I gonna do all the way out here? Had Lake George right by my house. I don't know if you
Yep.
ever heard of
Yeah.
Lake
Oh, yeah. I
George.
drive past it all the time.
Yeah. So Lake George was right over there. My parents stayed by the CVS over there on what's that, Ridge Road and Rand.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
roads sound familiar.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I would go over there and fish, man. And I remember my first fish, dude. It was a chartreuse spinnerbait, man. I got it in like a fishing kit, dude. My dad got for me, man. I
Yep.
think for Christmas or something, dude. Went out there, man. It was a windy day, just casting and casting, bro. I thought I was hung up on a reed. Next thing I'm pulling up a fish, dude. I'm like, oh man, this wow.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, I was like, man. So ever since that point, your boy been hooked, man. I've
That's
been
cool.
hooked.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
That makes me think about, memories, things that are like etched into your mind.
yeah.
Florida bass fishing. I was just down there not too long ago. I was in St. Augustine for our 25-year anniversary. I'm sorry, not a 13-year anniversary, and I took some tackle down there with me and my travel rods, and I went bass fishing, and I got skunked, and I couldn't
Oh,
believe it. I couldn't believe it. It must have whatever, but
yeah.
I walked around this strange lake I'd never been to before, and there's two guys in a canoe. Actually, a guy and a girl in a canoe, or a guy and a small boy. I'm not sure because they were kind of far,
Hmm.
but they were struggling too. And then about 30 minutes before I had to go, they were really close. And I was like, hey, you guys catching? They're like, we just started. And I'm like, what are you throwing? And they're like, we're throwing a #7 Rapala floater, black and silver. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, because that's what we grew up fishing. Like,
Yeah.
if we wanted to have a good, we could go out with a floating Rapala, a 1,000 size spinning reel, a medium fast Berkeley lightning rod, 6'6", and we could catch 100 bass in one day. They may all be 8 inchers,
Yeah.
and you may get the occasional 13 or 15 incher. But that, like, when he showed me what he was catching them on, I was like, of course, of course that's what you're catching them on. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And
the
down there in
number
Florida,
one.
it's a lot of grass, right?
There's
So,
depends on where you're at, but
okay.
the water can be really tannic, because
Yeah.
of all the wood, and this was, and of course I bring everything down to Florida with me. I'm bringing buzz baits and worms and craws and this and rattle traps, but do I have
Yeah.
a Rapala floater with me? No, of course
Nah.
not. But man, yeah, we grew up throwing little Rapalas. We grew up throwing beetle spins, and Texas rigged worms and a weightless fluke. That was it.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was it. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. So that's gonna go ahead and take me into you on the rivers now. So tell,
What
tell
up,
me a little bit
Malone?
about, yeah, what's good. Let me tell me a little bit about your setup, your kayak setup.
Oh yeah, I got it up. So it's my first kayak that I've ever owned. It's a bona fide SS 127. I got it
Okay.
as a Father's Day present 4 or 5 years ago. Um, Prior to this kayak, I'd never gotten on a kayak in my life. Not
Oh,
I'd gotten on a canoe a few times, like
yeah.
when we'd go, camping in the Peace River down in Florida or something like that. But never fished out of a kayak or any of that. And I'd gotten out of fishing for a long time, before we moved up here. I met my wife who I'm married to, we met each other like 27 years ago. We've actually been together. We've been together about 20. We'll be celebrating 26 years this month on the 31st. So we've been together for a minute, and we were, before I do what I do now, I was in the restaurant industry for a long time, and we lived in Cocoa Beach in Orlando. And I didn't do a lot of fishing then, so I just kind of got back into fishing.
Yeah.
7 years ago, something like that, and don't have a lot of waters around here. Had some lakes, and kayaks were getting popular, and I was looking at them, and I went down to a moving waters, demo day down at the Boone's pond, which is coming up on this Saturday in case anybody's interested. But so yeah, I told her that I like this kayak. Next thing you know, she got it for me. So it does. I don't have a motor. It's not a pedal drive. It's just a paddle, and it does everything well for me. Out on the rivers. If I've got my fish finder set up on my center pod, and that gives it some weight, which is okay. But in the rivers, it's not the most agile kayak. And because of the hull design. But if I take that center pod out, it's a lot lighter in the middle, and I'm able to paddle a lot easier. It's a really stable kayak. I mean, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'2", 290, so I can stand up in that and feel comfortable in it. I've never rolled it. Thank God, knock on wood.
I ain't got no wood. I ain't got no real wood around me, man.
I've never flipped it or any of that. It's really stable. It's heavy. It's not something I'm gonna pick up over and put on my head and walk down the trail type thing. But it's also not like a Hobie Pro Angler heavy. So it's kind of it's a good one size fits all type situation, but it's not like a great river kayak. So that's
okay. But I would say honestly, like it was probably better for the kayak. I mean for the river, right? That's because it's light and you can move around with it.
Well,
you would say, right?
From its agility wise. So I'll give you an example. Two years ago, we went down to the Panhandle of Florida on a family vacation, and I'd never been there. We were in the Apalachicola Bay area, which is used to be. That's where the oyster industry started, and you can go fishing on the beach there, or in the intercoastal, and you can catch redfish and sea trout and largemouth all in the same area. So I found a shop. I rented a kayak. It was like a Wilderness Systems Tarpon 120, and I'd never been on that type of kayak. My fear when I started demoing kayaks was, I'm a big dude, I'm gonna tip this kayak. So I get on this Tarpon 120, and I'm like, wow, this is not as stable. And I remember one stroke, and I was like, I'd moved like 20 feet, and I was like, whoa, my Bonafide does not do this. It's stable, but it's not fast. And because it's not fast, because of the hull design, it means like if I need to pull a 180, it's going to take me a few turns. But in this Tarpon 120, I could stop what I'm doing, one stroke, and I would completely spin around. So from what I've learned about fishing rivers is the more agile the kayak, the easier it is to maneuver around. But that comes with like some downfall too, because if the wind hits me, it's going to move me pretty easily. So there's give and take. There's give and take. My next, like I want a really light river kayak that I can just backpack 3 rods. It weighs 50 pounds, and I can just go up and down steep impoundments. I want something like that. And then I either want a pedal drive or I want a motor for this, because when we go up to the UP, some of those launch spots are at the south end of the lake, and some of those fishing spots are at the north end of the lake. And it's a solid hour to paddle there and a solid hour to paddle back. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty whooped sometimes, man.
Man, it's like that, man, when you have a paddle kayak, man. And listen, man, when I had my paddle, I my first kayak was inflatable and I punctured it. So I needed something a little bit more safe. So I ended up getting a sit-in. And then with that sit-in, it was it's a Pelican. It's a Pelican sit-in.
Right.
I started doing tournaments, so I'm like, okay, this is not ideal for doing tournaments. So I got a Pelican Catch 100, and that's the pedal drive. And man, that thing was just they just put it out there very quickly, you know, just trying to get it out to compete with the rest of the guys that's making kayaks. But that kayak wasn't durable, man. Parts was breaking. Seat the very first day, man, I leaned back in the seat and it breaks on me. You know what I mean? So they didn't put a whole lot of quality into it, you know, and it's fairly cheap. I think I paid maybe $1,000 for 800, something like that. So you know, it did its thing for a minute, but it just wasn't ideal. So I sold my motorcycle and I ended up getting the autopilot as soon as I sold it. And I went to go demo it over at Moving Water Outfitters, just like you did. And man, as soon as I sold that motorcycle, man, I made that purchase, dude.
That sounds like a good deal to me. I would trade in a motorcycle for a motorized kayak.
yeah, man. Because I'm like, and when you said you was exhausted by the end of the day, dude, it's like I was that, man. I would come in from a days of fishing, dude, just exhausted. I would go all the way up. Matter of fact, I would go to Lake Monroe, and I would paddle all the way around that thing in that kayak, dude. And man, when I get back, dude, I would sleep from the time I get home to the next morning when I gotta go to work. I was like, yeah, like I missed the whole family. But man, with this autopilot, man, it allows me to fish the way I want to, and I can relax and chill. Only downside about it is really heavy, so that's why I got the boondock system to go with it. And to give me leverage. I don't have a trailer, so I just, you know, put it in the back of my truck, and those wheels give me leverage to pick that thing up. I made a video on it, so if anybody want to check out the boondock system, go to my page and check it out. And man, y'all hit that like button for your boy too, man, and subscribe for those people that ain't, you know what I mean, and subscribe to your boy HOOKLIFE, man. He most definitely me and HOOKLIFE, we met at the river. I was doing a tournament. Yeah, it was my first time. It was our first time meeting. We was Facebook social media friends, but it was our first time. He was with a group of guys. I was by myself, and I was doing a grubby tournament, I believe. And man, just met up. You know,
I saw the kayak, and then I saw the blades, and then I saw and then I saw your swim bait hanging. I'm like, that's Tweezy right there, man. That is
yeah. So yeah, man, we most definitely had a good day on the water. I mean, I think y'all caught a bunch of them that day on the river.
Cooler Lid, what's up, man? I am I'm originally, I was born in the Caribbean, but I lived in Southeast Florida from the time I was 4 years old. So I'm a Floridian. I'm here in the Midwest now because my wife is from the suburbs of Chicago, and we moved to Illinois in 2008, and then in 2014 we opened up our own business here in Indiana, and that's why we're here. That's why I'm in the Hoosier State.
Yep. Good thing he's in the good old Hoosier State, man. Gotta love it, right?
Exactly. What's going on, Michael? What's up, Tom? Good to see you guys.
Up? Let me get in this chat for a second. Let me see what guys talking about. You know what I mean? So everybody hanging out, man. I appreciate everybody tapping in with your boy tonight, man. We got Tom, Mike, Cooler Aid, you know what I mean, USA Kayak Fishing just hopped in with us. You missed a whole lot, man. We've been going over HOOKLIFE's Greg, his life, man. You know, I wanted to bring bro on. We always talked about getting on and, you know, meeting up. So, you know, I just wanted to go ahead and initiate that. So this is our first step to getting out on the water. You know, we're gonna go live and, you know, learn a little bit about each other. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pick his brain a little bit about the river, you know what I mean, since he fished the rivers a lot more than I do. And we're gonna set up a day to go out, man, because I know him and Gramps got out once or twice. and he put Gramps on some fish. So I want to get put on some fish too, bro.
Yeah, JT, he man, I got him on his river PB the first time meeting up with him.
Yeah,
we got a pretty good winter hole here.
yeah.
That spot's a good winter hole. It's not the greatest during the warm weather. I don't actually I shouldn't say that because I typically just don't fish that area much because I'm typically trying to hit a different river system a little bit more. But you just one of the things I love about rivers is they're always changing, right? So with every major flood, it can deposit, new laydowns in spots or remove laydowns from spots. It's always changing, and it's just amazing. I'll never forget getting out there. I never river fished before 4 years ago ever, and I remember getting out there and like getting skunked the first day and coming home happier than I had been in the longest time because it felt like learning to fish all over again. And
it's a
that
challenge, a puzzle you got to put together every time.
Putting the puzzle together is one of the best parts about it for me. For me, whether I'm going out there for that day or whether I'm learning a new technique, and going out there and trying to put the pieces of a puzzle together when you've never even seen that puzzle before. It's one thing when you've seen that puzzle 100 times, but if you've never even seen that picture before, and it's a million piece puzzle, trying to put that thing together is a challenge, and that makes it fun for me. And,
man, I agree, dude. I agree. I like puzzles, man. I'm a puzzle guy. I love doing Sudoku. I love doing actual puzzles. You know what I mean? Me and my daughter and my wife, we do puzzles and stuff all together. I'm actually a handyman. I'm a professional handyman. So doing puzzles at work and figuring things out, taking things apart, putting them back together, that's a puzzle within itself, man. I actually do that for a living. People, man, let me tell you, man, it's some of the worst stuff ever, dude. So say for instance, somebody gets some from Amazon and they try to they attempt to put it together, and then they look at it and like, oh man, I can't do this, and then they call me. They say, man, can you come over here and put this together? I didn't already try it. And it ain't getting together. I'm like, did you read the instructions? No. But I'm like, if you read the instructions, you'll know exactly how to put it together. But I get over there and it's like double the work. You know what I mean? I'm like, you should have called me first. I get over there and put it together, and and I have it together. But when I get to a person's house, I have to take it apart. I gotta find all the pieces again and then reassemble everything. So it's like it sucks. But that's I love to do it though, you know what I mean? And that takes me back to the fishing where you have to break things down, which is breaking that all the way down and then putting it back together. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out where those bass at. And that leads me into my next question. How do you target or find those spawning smallmouth on a river?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's something I'm still working on putting together. The little bit that I know about spawning smallmouth is that their winter hole, they're going to leave their winter hole. They're going to head to their spawning grounds, and then after their spawning ground, in between, they're going to stop. And then after they're done spawning, they're going to head to their summer home. A lot of times when it comes to, I know a lot more about largemouth fishing, and I understand largemouth bass a lot more than I understand smallmouth because I've been fishing for largemouth a lot longer. One of the things that I relate to largemouth is they're typically going to spend, I can typically find them in the summer where I find them in the winter, or I can typically find them in the winter where I find them in the summer. Meaning, the calmest, the most undisturbed water in a body of water, because when it gets in Florida, When it's
Yeah.
when it's 100 degrees outside and the bass don't want to move, they're going to be in the coolest part of the lake. And
Yeah, some deep water.
that coolest part, but that deep water may be 6 feet deep, because
Yeah.
Florida is like a giant.
It's shallow.
It's super. A lot of it is shallow,
Yeah, like
especially the ponds, the bank fishing ponds that I would fish.
hmm
So
yeah,
that
almost like a wetland though, right?
yeah, yep, exactly. And so with regards to those smallies, um, what I have found is the biggest thing that helps me find fish is transitions on the
Yeah.
river, looking for areas where a sandy bottom may transition into a hard bottom.
hmm
I have learned that smallies really, really like that. I haven't been out, I haven't been out on the river here since March. And
hmm
uh, maybe not even March, maybe February. So when the last time I was smallie fishing in a kayak here, it was still late winter or late winter,
Yeah.
and now it's pretty much the spawn is on. I was just in Indy this past weekend. I got out on the river, and
The White River,
the
right?
white. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, that story. That's for another time. That was a debacle, but we didn't find any smallmouth.
Hmm.
So I'm still working on putting that puzzle piece together.
Yeah.
So if anybody in chat or if you have any suggestions on where to find spawning smallmouth, let me know. But typically, I'm looking for some hard bottom, just like I would be if I was looking for largemouth, because
Yeah.
that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a hard substrate that's going to help protect their eggs.
Yeah, facts. And they need something that's gonna be like not moving, I would say, because that river can like move really, really fast. So they probably want to find some deep, some a little deeper, maybe some
Yeah,
very, very hard structure that's not moving. And
yeah,
and possibly, like you said, maybe a little sand, something they can sit on. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't fish the river, and that's why I wanted to pick your brain a little bit, and maybe we can link up one of these days in the near future and get down there. Now, what river are you close by?
So I've got the Wabash. The Wabash River run. I live in West Lafayette, Indiana,
Okay. Yeah.
Which is where Purdue University is.
Yeah.
So I'm about an hour north of Indy on 65. The Wabash River splits West Lafayette on one side and Lafayette on the other side.
Now, how's the Wabash River down there? Because I'm in Terre Haute, and it's terrible here. Like you probably only gonna catch catfish and carp in that thing. You know what I mean? And probably a missing body.
What's the water clarity like? Is it really chocolatey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that here. In the wintertime, it gets super clear.
Yeah.
And that's when it's really good for me for smallmouth in my area.
Yeah. I just think the water is just too wide and dirty, like, and moving too fast, and I don't know.
There's 23 inches in there, man. They're there. You just got to find them.
Man, I don't know, man. Like, I'm afraid of the Wabash, man. Like, it moves so fast, and with that motor, dude, it just. And I'm by myself a lot of times, so it's like I don't have anybody to float with, you know what I mean, to pick me up on the other side. So I try to make sure I go to places where I can maybe, you know what I mean, motor back to where I park.
Yep, I get it, because I wouldn't do any solo float trips. I would only go on a river. I would only kayak fish a river solo if I knew I could get up and then float back to my launch spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been times where the water's moving so fast, I'm like, I'm not getting on it, you know?
Yeah, no, you just can't, man. It's just not even safe. Like, it's just not safe. Now, I may check out the Wabash this summer, man, once it slow down a little bit. I see boats and stuff going out there, but I just think they probably catching catfish, man. I don't know, man.
So where I'm at, the Wabash runs right through. I've got the Wildcat Creek that empties into the Wabash in my area. So there's a confluence of the Wildcat just a little bit north of that confluence is the confluence of the Tippecanoe River. So
Okay.
I've got a spot where the Tippy meets the Wabash. Then downstream is a spot where the Wildcat meets the Wabash. Then I've got the rest of the Wabash, and it's got smaller little tributaries that empty into it. But the Wabash is one of it's the major river system in Indiana. It empties into the Ohio empties into the Mississippi.
Okay.
So
So that area where the Tippy and the Wabash meet, is that where the guy charged for parking?
it is.
I like that area.
It is. Yep, it is.
I like that area.
That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why I really want either a pedal kayak or a motorized kayak, because
you gotta go upstream.
Yeah, you got to sneak up on them. You've got to be able to sneak up on them, and just bass are ambush predators, and they're doing the same thing to fish that we're doing to them. They're trying to sneak up on them. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I have a feeling about floating past an area and then turning around and then fishing that area.
Yeah.
I'd much rather sneak up on them. So if I can launch downstream and then go up and then float back, I'd much rather do that than floating from spot to spot.
No, I agree with you. I like going upstream too, so that way it makes it that much easier to come back down. And that's how I've been fishing recently. I mean, like always, on the river. I think that one time we saw each other, I went the opposite way you are. You always floating down, and I went up. That way I can float back. You know what I mean, and get back to the cart easier, man. But yeah. So, what's your biggest smallmouth?
River or in general?
Just in general.
5 pounds, Lake St. Clair.
Ooh, that's a stud right there, bro.
21.75, something like that.
And that's crazy because like a 5 pounder, you wouldn't expect to be like 21 inches though. A lot of times they're a little bit shorter, especially like with largemouth. 7-8 pounder, that's 20, 6-7 pounder, that's 21 inches there,
Right.
But you said 5 pounder, at 21, like smallmouth, they just long, they're long fish.
Yeah, the river smallmouth are built differently. They're longer.
Yeah, they longer and slender. Yeah.
Yep. Lake St. Clair, they're a little shorter, a little stockier.
Yeah, a little stocky. Yeah, a little fat footballs.
Yeah, but catching that thing on 10-pound braid on a spy bait, that was a lot of fun.
I can imagine, dude. I know the fight was something crazy. Probably reminds you of one of those saltwater fish because they fight like crazy too, right?
Just hang out, wait for Mom. Hold on one second. Just hang out.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead. Just make sure the volume's not too loud.
Okay, how do I get her dry?
Just have her sit on the couch.
Okay.
I'll check out some of this going on in the chat while you take care of them.
Sly Fox.
Cool to say. I wish the weather cooperate. I feel you. Go ahead. What you were saying?
I wish the weather would get a little cool again. I really, I wish it was in the 60s, and I wish the water temps were still in the 50s, because the smallies they would be eaten.
They like that cool water. That's why they stay around the moving water, right?
Yeah,
they want to stay cool.
Sly, where's Geneva at? Because it's super muddy in my area too, especially in the summertime. I don't know if a lot of people know, but Indiana, unfortunately, has some of the worst water quality. It's one of the worst ranking states for water quality in the nation. There's a ton of farming here. A ton of that runoff, irrigation runoff goes into the rivers, and a ton of it's got, chemicals and fertilizers and who knows what else is in it. But yeah, I mean, if we're not flooded and the Wabash is just at normal pool level in the summertime, it's the water clarity. It's pretty bad. I would say 8 to 12 inches on a good day. But in the wintertime, it could be like 2 to 3 feet. It's amazing. when farming is not going on and people are not just running ridiculous amounts of water runoff off of lawns into the river. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time to fish the Wabash. Close to the Ohio line. Gotcha. Yeah, you're on the south side, so
I need to figure out what's some
you get the
smallmouth
whole
are.
state runoff down there, Sly.
I might, man. Listen, man. I might look up and find some smallmouth in my area, dude. Because the Wabash is like literally right here, but I just don't think people fish for it.
You've got to have some running. There's got to be some moving water too, because you're kind of close to the Illinois line. There are some rivers. Like I used to live.
It's a lot of creeks, right?
Yeah, and there's some smaller rivers in that area. Like I used to work and live in Champaign, Illinois, and I used to work. I used to work in Danville. You know, not super far from Terre Haute. And
no, it's not.
There's 2 or 3 different rivers that are Illinois rivers that are connected between the 2 states in that area. I've never fished them, but I would bet that there's smallies in there.
Yeah, I'm sure too, man. I do a lot of work orders over in Illinois, and man, I ride past these places all the time, and I'm like, man, I mark them like, yeah, I gotta get back there, but I just never fish, you know, rivers a lot of times because I'm fishing a lot of lakes because of the tournaments. You know, I enjoy doing the tournaments, but yeah, that takes me into a tournament that you was in recently. I want to say, I'm not sure if it's still going on, but I did see it. When you doing like a chatterbait type?
Yeah, the RLDL Bladed Bait Challenge.
Okay.
Mike Lotzenheiser, he has a YouTube channel called Dad Life Fishing Adventures. And a lot of his stuff is fishing with his boy. He has a small son. He has a young son named Reese. He lives up in the Fort Wayne area of Indiana, and really, really nice guy. He's put on some social media tournaments occasionally. He has the Bladed Bait Challenge. He did a Topwater Bash last year that I participated in. He's getting ready to do a new one in June. It's like jigs, soft plastics, and something. But yeah, I love little, you know, I've never fished a derby, you know, on a lake or in a river. It's something that I'm looking to change this year, you know, whether it's a grubby event or, you know, I just got into KBF. So we're kind of participating in some of that stuff. But as far as, you know, a 1-day or a 2-day tournament, I've never participated in it. And more than anything for me, I think I would enjoy the camaraderie, and I'm a people person. I love meeting new people and hearing and listening to different perspectives on anything, you know, life, family, children, marriage, fishing, whatever, you know. And so yeah, that's something that I want to participate in. But that was a pretty cool challenge where you've in order to put a fish on the board or into the challenge, it can only be caught on a specific type of bait. So for that tournament, it was spinner baits, chatter baits, underspins, something with a blade on it. I was trying to get wild, and I was putting bladed treble hooks on lipless crankbaits and wake baits and all kinds of stuff. But for me, my fish just weren't, my largemouth weren't turned on, and it was way too busy time of year at work for me to do any kayak fishing. So I'm in a similar industry as you. I own a fire and water restoration business. So I'm constantly, in my business, we're constantly taking people's houses apart and putting them back together. You know, whether it's water damage or fire or mold or, you know, a tree falling on someone's roof. So yeah, I'm in the remodel industry. So sometimes it's crazy busy, and there's no time for daddy to hop on a kayak on the weekends, but it is what it is.
And how many kids do you have? Like,
I've got 3. I've been blessed with 3 beautiful girls. My oldest is getting ready to the 16th. She'll be 8. I've got a 4-year-old, and I've got one that just turned 3 last week.
Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up,
Busy,
man. I know they take. I was
busy.
gonna say, but between having a business and tending to a wife and 3 daughters, you know what I mean. I know you can get tied up a little bit.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
but it is what it is. You know, it's
yeah. Nah,
I'll
yeah.
probably fish less this year than last year, but that's okay. You know what I
No,
mean?
that and that's cool, and that's what I was trying to get into. I'm in a weird spot myself, man. Like business is picking up a little bit, and I'm so competitive. Like what you just said, you love the camaraderie. I like the camaraderie too. I love it, talking to the guys and stuff. But I'm so competitive, man. I love
Yeah,
winning, and I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes doing tournaments, if I don't do well, then it kind of ruins my day. So you know what
right.
I mean. Like I'm in that weird space. Like, man, should I do tournaments, or I wanna be able to still have fun while competing. So I think I may just scale back a little bit, just do it, what I mean, just for the heck of it and for the fun of it, and then just worry about more content is which
Yeah,
brings me
you
into
know,
my next time.
it just depends on where you want to focus your efforts because with
Mhm.
as busy as I am, like you said, business, kids, wife, you put a YouTube channel on top of that,
Yeah,
and it's like you know there's just not a lot of time in the day, and
yeah,
you just got to pick and choose your battles. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's like
Hmm.
I'm making less content this year than I was last year, and I'm okay with that. You know,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
for me, YouTube isn't it's not an opportunity to make money. For me, it's a hobby.
hmm,
I enjoy the editing process. I enjoy the artistic portion of it.
yeah,
When I was a little kid, before I got into fishing, I thought I was going to be a comic book illustrator. So
yeah,
I've got decades of like artwork, inside here that needs there's there that creativity has to go somewhere, and right now that that happens to be a YouTube channel, and
yeah,
and that's cool. I like it. I enjoy it. It brings me joy, and that's why I do it. Um,
yeah.
and, and
And same
and
thing.
situations like this, getting to meet you, getting to meet Michael and Sly and Scott and Big Malone, and chatting with these guys,
Yeah,
in the chats in the comments of the video, like I look forward to that.
yeah,
That brightens my day and brings a smile to me, where we build this community, and
right.
we all see each other in Gramps' live streams and Jermaine's, and we see each other in other people's live streams and comments on videos, and it just feels like this network, and that's one of the beautiful
Yeah,
things. That's
feel
one
like
of the beautiful
family.
things. Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about what we do. Chasing these little green slimy fish around is that
Yeah,
it brings us together, and that's awesome.
it does. It really does. It bring a whole lot of camaraderie, not just in the fishing clubs, but outside of it too. Like, and like you said, man, I really enjoy the art of social media. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I love putting together a good edit, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And this year I really want to get more into like the teaching and showing people exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So that's why I've been and that's why I struggle too, man, because I'm so competitive, and the thing was I didn't want to show the guys, you know what I mean, the juice that I'm using and
yeah,
stuff, you know what
yeah.
I mean,
I
because
get it.
I was so successful. But at this point in my life, I mean, like, I don't care, man. Like, I just want to be able to help somebody else out, man. And hey,
Yeah,
if I can get somebody out there doing anything out on the water, if it's just kayaking and just chilling, you know what I mean, you
right.
ain't got necessarily fish. But if it's something that you can do to ease the mind and you know what I mean, get you to your happy place, then
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
agree with it, man. Go with it. Like, yeah, me and Sly, we met down in Gunnersville, you know what I mean, and that was my first time meeting him, and he, I sent him a shirt and everything, you know what I mean. So it's good meeting the new people and
Yeah.
hanging out and stuff. But yeah, that's what man. Yeah, but going
That's
into
one
the
thing.
teaching thing. Go ahead.
That's one thing I like to do too. Is I've had the chance to. Last year I met up with a subscriber in November, and he had never fished the tippy before. and he was kind of new into kayak fishing, and him and I had never fished before, and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you want to meet up and go fish the Tippy?" I was like, "Sure." And we met at River Junction, that pay to park place, and we went up the Tippy, and he had never fished a tube for smallmouth, and showed him how to rig up a stupid tube. And next thing you know, he's flipping around. Next thing you know, he's got his PB on the boat, and I'm pulling up to him. I'm taking pictures, and I'm making a video. And I don't think I caught one single fish that day, but I had an awesome time on the water, and sharing for me, being able to share the water with somebody. That's a good day. That's a good day for me. Whether it's the beach or the pier or walking around a lake. Tweezy, have you ever waded a creek?
Yeah.
Okay. For smallies?
Yeah. I got a creek here that they blew up the dam, so hopefully it get a little deeper. So, but I plan on wading
that is some sneaky smallmouth fishing that can be really, really, really fun, man. A lot of people overlook, skitty water holding 18-inch smallmouth.
Yeah. I fished I waded down in the White River, over, I want to say in Plainfield, over in that area.
Okay.
I want to say, I can't remember the exact ramp, but I fished over there, man. Wade, man, it was fun in the mud, dude. I ain't catch no huge ones, man, but I was tearing them up on the chopo, dude. We was just having a good old time. Yeah. And matter of fact, I took some of my boys out that never fished for real. You know what I mean? Like, this was their first time going to the river and stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, this is some of my boys from the hood, so they, they really ain't getting out. You know what I mean? But I got them out on the water, and they was, man, I'm telling you, bro, they've been trying to get back out there, dude, and they loving it, man. But let's go. I also want to get into some baits, man. So for the month of May, I've been catching fish. I want to get into the baits that I've been catching in May.
Okay.
Have you been fishing in May so far? Doing bank fishing?
I've been a few times recently. I caught my first topwater fish 2 days ago on a plopper. First bass.
I seen that online.
Well, no, the first one I caught, I couldn't even show it to you. I forgot my phone in the truck. She was solid. She was like a 3-pounder.
Okay.
And then I caught another one like yesterday. I lost two custom baits yesterday. One to a snapping turtle, man. I hope that turtle gets that hook out of its mouth. It was a walker. It was a walking style bait. It was like a pompadour, and it went under. I set the hook, and I was like, "There's no way this is a bass. If it is, it's a 10-pounder." And next thing you know, it's a snapping turtle, and I tried to get it up on shore, and the line broke.
That sucks, man.
What's been getting it done for me? In late April, it's been weightless, like a weightless floating worm or a wacky rig, or something like a fluke. The only real waters outside of subdivision ponds, I've got a few ponds, if you want to call them that, around here that are public waters. But right now it's stuff like a Senko. In May, I mean, in March it was spinner baits and shatter baits and
a lot of moving stuff they was feeding up for the spawn.
But right now it's really like a really slow walking bait on top water, working a plopper real slow. If it's a feeding time, but if not, it's soft plastics.
Okay. Well, I want to get into a few baits that was working for me. So since May, I've been going out since May. I done been out a few times this month, and the things that worked for me was a frog, a plopping frog. I used that Spro plopping. The plopping frog. That was pretty nice. It got me some fish, a couple fish, and then I also threw a buzz bait with a I want to say it. Oh man, I ain't got the frog on me, but a frog trail on it.
I just took my frogs out, getting ready to. There's a rod there's 2 rods and a backpack in my truck year round. It never leaves the truck. The tackle that's in that box changes depending on what season, but I just took these out of here today. But yeah, it's officially frog season. So
it's officially frog season.
Hollow belly's going in the truck tomorrow.
Yep. So yeah, I've been throwing a buzz bait with a frog trail on it. Also been throwing a chatterbait. That's been money for me, but that's a year round thing. And
what kind of toad do you fish on your buzz bait? Is it the Zoom horny toad?
Yeah, I think I got the Zoom horny toad, and then the man, I forget the name of the other one, dude. I just found a pack in the garage, dude, and I got so many soft plastics in there, man. It was just one of them days. I'm like, man, let me just grab these. You know what I mean? They was on the wall. Yeah. So, man, yeah, it's probably horny toad, man. I can't remember the name, but the Ned and the Cinco. I think I showed my Ned rig setup the last time I was on here, with the Ned lock. The colors that's been working for me, man, is June bug. Okay. And what I noticed, and what I've been wacky rigging it, and I've been working with the let me turn this light up so y'all can see the mock baits.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and I usually like to throw the biz baits.
Yep. Love biz baits.
Yeah, I love biz baits too. They smell so good. You know what I mean? But
yeah, June bug's been getting it done for me. The largemouth spot that I go to that's close to me is it's one of the Indiana state parks. Yeah, June bug. There's nothing but bluegill for forage in that lake, and right now they're tearing June bug up.
Yeah, and the thing is, I never really thrown a 4-inch worm, and these mock baits they come in 4 inches. I'm so used to a 6-inch, for the most part.
Right.
Or this biz bait is a 5.5, but it's close to a 6. But man, I was fishing, dude, and they a lot of times they wasn't hitting the 6-inch, man. I put this little smaller one on, and dude, I started tearing them up, man. They wanted the 4-inch.
Yeah, so, I was out there for lunchtime today, and a lot of small bass feeding up. So I caught like 5 bass in like 10 minutes, but they were all 10 inches.
Yeah, I caught some solid ones though. They was about 15. So
which tells me, I mean, that pond that I fished, it's a slough and it's really shallow. So I know there's beds there already, and I know the females they're locked on beds.
Yeah.
Right now.
I do want to show y'all something real quick.
Who was it? Was it Sly? Sly was saying that he's got nothing but 10-inch smallies in his creek. Hey, man, that's okay. Just fish ultralight. It's going to be a blast. I've got a little creek box here. Like when I go creek fishing, I get into really, really small baits, like throwing little baby spooks and little baby poppers on ultralight gear for smallmouth. It's a blast. You're fishing 6-pound test. You're not breaking any world records, but you're having a ton of fun. What up, JT? Good to see you, brother. Tom used to be a river rat. That's cool, Tom. That sounds like I couldn't imagine living, fishing the Mississippi or even the Ohio. Those, I've driven over them, going to Kentucky and stuff, and those bodies of water are just huge. Huge, huge, huge.
Can you hear me?
No. A little bit. Hold on.
I did my mic.
There. That was a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better.
All right. So, like I was saying, I'm going to be doing some demos, and I'm going to do one for y'all today. So this Senko, it actually has a spot right here in the middle with these mock baits. It's supposed to give you the perfect hookup ratio so it fall right. So with that said, I want to show y'all how this thing falls. This is 4-inch. You know what I mean? I don't know if you all can see it or not. I'm gonna try to get y'all to see it.
It's got a little test tank. I like it.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Putting the Senkos and you know what I mean. I'm gonna show you all how some of this stuff works. So that's what I want to get more into this year, showing the guys the demo tanks and showing different guys the baits and whatnot.
I like making that kind of content. I got a tank a few years ago and I started getting into that and it was a lot of fun. And then I started making my own jigs and I went down too many rabbit holes.
yeah. And I plan on doing the same thing, man. But like I said earlier, man, I want to get more into teaching and showing people exactly how I'm catching them. So that's one thing I got and set up that fish tank. They used lizard tank, and I converted it over to a fish tank. So nice. Yeah, man. So the June bug that's been working for me, and then the minnow types. Oh man, the minnow type baits. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, my bad, guys. And then also, I hooked up my mic again, but I've been using these minnow style bait, fluke style.
Yeah, I'm a huge fluke guy. I'll fish a fluke till the day I die. It's probably my #1 confidence lure.
Yeah, and this thing, man, I hooked into a big during the IKA tournament this past weekend. Man, I hooked into a giant, man, but I ended up losing it. But I put this little thing on a VMC ball head jig or just some type of ball head jig, and man, I was just jigging it and that thing came up and ate it, man. I seen it and it spit the hook. I was so upset, dude, because that tournament was tough.
Have you gotten into the mid strolling technique yet?
No, I haven't, man. I really just started using these type baits, man. And you know, I like big baits. You know what I mean? Big bait equal big fish. So you know what I mean? Me downsizing, you know what I mean?
I know. I got like so many big baits right up there.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
I need the waters for them, you know, and I just caught my first glide. I caught my first smallie on a glide bait today. I lost a giant on one like a year ago, and this year I caught my first couple smallies on glide baits, and man, I just love catching fish on glides or big baits.
Man,
for me it's a ton of fun, but you gotta be ready to be able to go a whole day without bites, and sometimes that's tough.
Yeah. I would say, man, get them glide baits out, and I always do well with it, like a mag draft or you know, some type of bigger swim bait. So
sure.
Yeah, man. But man, I appreciate you coming on with me tonight, man. We're gonna go ahead and end it here. We've been on about an hour. I know you gotta get back to the fam. I know the kids getting anxious. They ready to hop on pops. You know what I
mean? They're hopefully they're sleeping. Hopefully they're sleeping, and I got a pass tonight because mom's got a pass tomorrow night. And so, we'll have the roles reversed tomorrow. I've got all 3 of them.
We got a few people that hopped in late. Lindsay, I haven't forgotten about your shirt. I really haven't. Honestly, I was trying to do another giveaway and ship everything out at one time, but it seemed like every week something happens. You know what I mean? One week we had to reschedule, you know, because it was my anniversary, and that week I didn't get the live out, and then the following week was last week, and then this week. So I'll get that shirt out to you tomorrow for since I probably won't do a live tonight. I mean a giveaway tonight. There's only with that said, man, I appreciate you coming on, Greg.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
When we get off,
it was great. Anytime you need a guest, and you know, I could sit here and do this for hours. So looking forward to getting on the water with you this year. just give me a heads up, give me a couple weeks so we can plan something out, and whether it's
Yeah.
me coming down to you or you coming up here or us meeting somewhere and you know, going on an adventure, I'm down for all of it. Just let me know.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be more your way. I do want to get on that river, man. So we can probably meet somewhere. Matter of fact, at the Tippy where Wabash and the Tippy meet.
Yeah, the confluence.
Yeah, and go up the Tippy, man. I had a lot of good luck up there, man. I'm telling you, I caught some big fish. I seen some big fish and I caught some big fish. I think my biggest over there was like a 19 and a quarter.
Yeah, that's where my biggest river fish came from, that section of the Tippy. I've lost some bigger ones, but my biggest river smallie that I've landed came from that area. So I haven't fished. There's a couple of different stretches, and I haven't fished that stretch as many times as I want to. So I'm definitely down to fish that stretch of river whenever you want.
Yeah, we can do that. I actually came in third that tournament too. So it was like, and I never fished that stretch of river before. So it was my first time being there, and I got third. I'm like, yeah, this quality fish here. I'm gonna keep this in my back pocket, but exactly. I don't care. So all right, man. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Have a good one. Thank you. Thanks for everybody for joining in today. And if you guys haven't, subscribed to Tweezy, make sure you go ahead and do that. And I don't know.
Likewise.
Hope you guys are catching. Hope you're fishing. Get out there and go live that hook life. See ya. Man,
that hook life. Peace. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody hopping on, man. I'm gonna get out probably tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get out and do some stuff. And probably show y'all some stuff, man, that I'm working on. But for the most part, man, I appreciate everybody hopping on, man. And y'all have a good night. Peace.